And we are joined by Coach Luke Fickell from Cincinnati. Bearcats are 3-1 overall. They were in action Saturday at Marshall, and Cincinnati won the game 52-14. Up next, the Bearcats will be at home on Friday against UCF at Nippert Stadium. The game will be at 8 Eastern and will be televised on ESPN. And again, as we mentioned at the top of the call, Desmond Ridder of Cincinnati is the Americans' Offensive Player of the Week. Coach, thank you for joining us on the call, particularly on a short week. If we could just get your thoughts on the win at Marshall, maybe a couple words about Desmond's performance in leading and getting the Offensive Player of the Week honor, and we expect to see as you're home on Friday against UCF.
Well, it was a great week for us. It was probably the first for us all year, the complete game, and I just mean that offense, defense, and even as important as special teams wise. We had an off week, we had a bye week. We thought we did a good job. I think we, got a little momentum and created some things, took some time, but also got some work done. But you just never know coming out of a bye week. And, we went out there and really executed well early. And I don't know that we have done that and created and generated momentum, both offensively, defensively, and in the special teams. And I think that's where, it kind of snowballed. Our energy built, our momentum built, jumped on them kind of early and made it, took it away from him pretty soon and pretty quick. Obviously, Des had great command. His ability to see what he needed to see and make the decisions and go the right place, whether that's throwing the football, whether that's handing it off, whether that's pulling it. I just think that, I think his confidence is really growing. I think his ability to see and understand what he's getting and make those decisions on the field that happen really fast, especially at that position, we're really good. And I hope that he continues to grow. And he's feeling better and he's feeling healthier, and I think it all showed.
Take questions for Coach Luke Fickell, please. *1 on your telephone keypad will put you in the queue, and then the operator will introduce you.
Our next question comes from Joey Kaufman of the Columbus Dispatch. Please go ahead.
Luke, I actually had a question about Malik Harrison at Ohio State. You recruited him there and then got to face Malik in Ohio State earlier this month, obviously. I'm kind of curious because in high school, Malik was kind of a jack of all trades player. I'm curious how you kind of saw him a couple weeks ago and compared to how he was in high school and how he's developed over the years.
I think he's done a phenomenal job, and I don't just mean that physically. He was a guy that was more of an athlete and more of a basketball player, and his ability to develop as a football player is what, you don't always know. And hopefully you put guys in a culture and a program like that, and you got the surroundings for people not just to be told what to do, but to see what to have done. And he has grown immensely. He has grown not just physically, but as a football player. The future for him in the game is bright. I think he can do a lot of different things, because of his size and his length and his athleticism. But to see him kind of become the football player that you just never quite know is really impressive.
Did he show you something in high school maybe where you were kind of in your mind projecting how he could be?
Yeah, I mean, his aggressive nature, his ability, to put his face on people and not shy away by any means. Obviously playing a bunch of different positions. He played on the edge a lot. Sometimes you worry about guys on the edge. Can they move inside and still be able to see and react as fast as they need to in the game? And that's where I think he's done an unbelievable job in developing.
Thanks, Luke.
Sure.
Our next question comes from Chris Vanini of The Athletic. Please go ahead.
Hey, Luke, how do you look back at last year's loss to UCF, and does any of that carry over into this year's game?
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to learn from it, and I don't just mean, I'm from the atmosphere to the emotions to the adrenaline, to also the game and specific things that they attacked on us and we tried to attack on them, and so there's a lot of things you can get and learn from last year's game as opposed to just X's and O's, personnel and things like that. So, I think more importantly, the guys have a better grasp of understanding. Year one when we played them, we got no feel because it really never was, from probably the opening kickoff, any bit a game. And not that it was a great game by any means last year, and they ended up obviously having their way, but it was different. We got a good feel. We got to understand what it was like and the speed was like, as opposed to just being overwhelmed in year one. So a lot of things I think that we got a better grasp on, understand, and know. Now we got to be able to deal with it and correct some of the things that we got to do a better job of, and really ultimately go out and play.
What do you make of Gabriel at quarterback and what he's able to do?
For a freshman, again, it's quite unique. Obviously he throws an incredible deep ball. His ability, I think he has the patience for a young guy that I would think that a lot of guys would just take off and run. But I think he obviously believes in his arm and believes in the guys that are around him, whether it's protection-wise or even if those guys are going to come open downfield. But in this type of offense, your ability to kind of handle the tempo and the speed and still be able to be accurate, I think, is what's really unique. But he's got a great opportunity to learn. Not that he was there last year, but visually learn and see what success really looks like from that position in that offense.
And last year's game was College Game Day down there. For you guys to get it at home, big crowd and everything, what does that mean to you guys?
No, we love it. I mean, I think it's going to be a great opportunity, not just for us, but for our campus, for people to see what kind of energy and things are going on just on our campus. I think with our students, that's what you love. These atmospheres, but also to be able to showcase your, not just your stadium and stuff, but your campus and your students and the energy in your community.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Trace Trilko of the Nightline Sports Network. Please go ahead.
Hello, Coach. How do you think your team matches up with UCF along the offensive and defensive lines?
Well, I think we match up pretty well. I think it's good for us from last year to have a better concept of what it is that we're dealing with. I think that's where, the help from last year. I said it earlier. The tough thing about in year one, it's really hard to get any bit of a feel for where you were, even matchup-wise, because it was such a lopsided, non-competitive game that a lot of guys didn't get any feel of anything. Where last year, obviously, they had their way and ended up making it not as even bit close there towards the end. But I think we at least got the feel for, hey, where we are, what we need to do, how we match up with them both up front and in the back end.
And you mentioned earlier the atmosphere for College Game Day in Orlando last year. How can your home crowd help you on Friday?
I think it's huge. You can feel. I mean, the game of football is about energy and momentum. And if you don't have it, you got to find a way to create it. If you got it, you got to keep it. And when you're playing at home and you can create an atmosphere where your guys get some energy from that, I think it's huge. Obviously, you got to make plays to continue to keep that energy, but from the get-go, there's going to be a buzz, and there's going to be an energy for our kids and for our program and for our team. So I think that, that's what these guys live for. They love it, and we're excited about Friday night to see what the atmosphere and the buzz really is like.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
And do we have any further questions for Coach Fickell, please? Star 1 on your telephone keypad, if so. Coach, appreciate your time. As always, we look forward to hearing from you once again next Monday.